The brief for the vessel came about from a new space being created above railway lines with an area equivalent to Trafalgar Square, and a sense from the people making this new quarter of New York that there should be some focal point. Could you make something amazing that people touch and use instead of things that they just look at and clap their hand and admire?
Our ambition from very early on was about intensity and socialisation and making a heart to Hudson Yards. But not in a passive way, not in an object that people would look at and take a photograph of and move on, but something that genuinely would bring people together. A real point of excitement for us was transitioning from thinking about public space as a flat narrative landscape into something with shape. And three-dimensionalizing what in a typical urban city context would be space in between buildings into an active proposition.
This idea emerged, influenced in part by some stunning images we found of these stepwells that exist in India, in Rajasthan, which were a way that people could get down to water, and we wondered whether you could create, in a sense, an amphitheatre for people that brought people together.
We had to work very closely with the engineers. This thing, the structure of it is closer to a bridge than it is a building. And the engineering would ideally have columns and straight lines, but we actually have no elements of those, and that's what meant that we had to develop this interlayer, which was the spine element that runs up between the soffits. And we found Chimolite, who are based in northern Italy. So rather than handing over a bunch of documents and saying, can you build this? We brought them on board and they worked with us closely on developing the details. We asked Chimolite to then do their own mock-ups and build their own versions, which we could then go visit and test out. They came up with a system which effectively had to break up the vessel into multiple pieces so they could put them into boats, take those to sort of New Jersey, put those onto barges and send them to New York.
There's a duality with the palette of materials used in the projects. When you look up, highly reflective, warm materials that allow you to perceive and see the movement of people on the project, even though you can't see them directly. And then when you're on the project looking downwards, you see an almost urban palette of concrete, of grey, of very familiar materials.
What you see reflected in all of the soffit panels will be everyone that's walking around, standing, enjoying it, meeting up with friends, doing whatever they may be doing, reflected within this soffit panel.
For us, it's interesting that there was this level of serious interest by the people making this new quarter in New York to try to make something that would not be a duplication of somewhere else and would offer something that was hopefully unique to people. So I hope this will be a fresh moment.
So in many ways it's openness, its lack of usage specificity is, we think, to its great advantage, and we hope that over the decades to come people will really embrace the project and it will become part of the fabric of New York.